Love isn't always loud. In fact, when it's real, it often reveals itself in the quietest ways, through gestures, words, and habits so natural they almost go unnoticed. While grand declarations and sweeping romantic acts get the spotlight, the true markers of a man's long-term commitment are often tucked into the subtle corners of daily life. If you've ever found yourself wondering, does he see a future with me? The answer may not lie in what he says explicitly, but in what he does consistently. When a man sees you as his forever person, his love shows up differently. It's not rushed or performative, it's intentional. He doesn't just want to impress you in the moment. He wants to build something lasting. And that desire seeps into everything. How he listens, how he plans, how he speaks, and how he shows up even when it's hard. You may not hear the words forever often, but you'll feel it in how he protects your name, honors your space, and includes you in the quiet details of his world. Sometimes, it's as simple as the way he remembers what matters to you, things you only mentioned once. Other times, it's how he mirrors your values, adapts to your lifestyle, and weaves you into his future without making a big show of it. He doesn't just think about himself anymore. His language changes, we replace his I. His decisions shift, they now involve both of you. And his presence becomes reliable, not just when things are perfect, but especially when they are not. These signs may not come with fireworks, but they come with something better: emotional safety. When a man sees you as his forever, he builds trust brick by brick, through consistency, respect, shared dreams, and quiet loyalty. He might not always articulate it in poetic lines or public posts, but he shows it in how he treats you when no one else is watching. That's where real love lies. In this guide, we're diving into 15 subtle signs that reveal just how deeply a man may be invested in you. Signs that whisper, "You're the one I want," not just for now, but for always. If you recognize these quiet truths in his behavior, chances are he already sees you as more than just a chapter. He sees you as the story. Let's uncover those signs and help you see the love that's been growing all along, just beneath the surface. 1. He remembers the little things you say. When a man truly sees you as his forever person, the way he listens to you changes. It becomes intentional, not just polite. He's not just nodding along in conversations to keep things moving. He's absorbing the details, even the ones you thought were small or forgettable. You might casually mention how you used to love a certain childhood snack, or that a certain song reminds you of your mom. And weeks later, he'll bring it up. Not because he's trying to impress you, but because your words left a mark. This kind of remembering goes beyond birthdays or favorite colors. It's in the way he shows up with your go-to coffee order on a stressful day, or how he gently avoids subjects that he knows trigger discomfort in you. It's in how he picks up on your energy when something feels off, even if you haven't said anything. He remembers your preferences, your pet peeves, your dreams, because to him, they matter. When a man is emotionally invested in a future with you, your words don't just pass through him. They stay with him. They become part of how he loves you, part of how he supports you. He's creating a mental map of what makes you you, and is doing it not out of obligation but out of care. It's in those quiet acknowledgments, those subtle recalls, that you see a deeper kind of love forming, one rooted in attentiveness, in presence, and in the kind of listening that only someone with forever in mind chooses to practice. 2. He introduces you to important people in his life. When a man starts seeing you as someone who could be in his life long term, one of the clearest yet quiet signs is how he begins to integrate you into his inner circle. It's not about making a grand announcement. It's about how naturally you start becoming part of his world. He brings you around the people who matter most to him: close friends, siblings, even his parents. Not out of obligation, but because it feels right. He wants them to know you, and more importantly, he wants you to know them. He values their opinions, sure, but he also trusts his own heart. Inviting you into those spaces is his way of saying, without saying it, that you're significant. It's deeper than casual dating. It means you're stepping into the parts of his life he doesn't open up to just anyone. He may smile differently when you're with them, more relaxed, more at home, as if some part of him was waiting to introduce the real him to the one he hopes will stay. And even beyond family or longtime friends, he includes you in moments that matter. Maybe it's attending a colleague's wedding together, or being his plus one at a reunion, or simply joining his best friend's birthday dinner. In each of these, he's silently declaring that you're more than a fleeting connection. You're someone he sees fitting into the puzzle of his future. Without needing dramatic gestures, his invitations become proof. He doesn't want to build a life where you're on the outside looking in. He's already making space for you, one introduction at a time. 3. He includes you in long-term plans. When a man sees you as his forever person, his vision of the future naturally starts to include you, not in a forced way, but as something that feels right. You'll notice it in the little comments he makes, the way he uses we when talking about things down the road. It's in those offhand remarks like, one day when we get a house, or that's a spot we should visit together next year. These aren't just words. They're glimpses into a mind quietly stitching you into his future. He may talk about vacations months ahead, saving money for something you'd both enjoy, or even simple routines like attending yearly festivals or family holidays. And you're already part of the picture. He's not waiting for a ring or title to start dreaming with you. In fact, these plans are how he softly shows that he's serious, that his commitment isn't confined to the present moment. It goes even deeper when he involves you in decisions that impact his future, job changes, moving cities, financial planning. He doesn't just tell you about them. He asks for your thoughts, because your opinion carries weight. Whether or not the plan is big or small, your presence in it signals how deeply he values your role in his life going forward. It's not about how extravagant the plans are. It's about how naturally he sees you beside him in what's coming next. That kind of inclusion doesn't happen by accident. It means he's already started building something with you in his heart, and is quietly hoping you'll keep choosing to build with him too. 4. He listens, even when you think he's not. When a man is emotionally connected and sees you as someone who truly matters, his listening becomes intuitive, even in the moments you least expect it. You might assume he's distracted, scrolling through his phone, or just tired after a long day. But later, something you mentioned offhandedly will show up in his actions, in his responses, in the way he checks in on you. That's when you realize he was listening all along. He catches the things between the lines, the sighs in your voice, the hesitation in your tone, the subjects you rush past. He notices when your energy shifts, even if your words stay the same. And when you're feeling off or overwhelmed, he remembers those things you said in passing, like how you cope, what comforts you, or what helps you recharge. This kind of listening isn't about giving advice or fixing things. It's about presence. It's about absorbing who you are, the details, the patterns, the rhythm of your heart, and holding on to them. It's subtle, it's quiet, but it's real. And when you least expect it, he'll reference something you told him weeks ago, something you didn't even think mattered, and it'll stop you in your tracks. That's not just good memory. That's care. That's investment. That's a man whose heart is tuned into you, not just your words. It's easy to notice the moments when someone is actively engaging in a conversation. But the real sign of emotional depth is how they respond when no one's watching, when there's no pressure to perform. And when he listens even then, especially then, it's one of the clearest signs he sees you not just as someone for now, but someone for always. 5. He mirrors your values and lifestyle. When a man sees you as his forever person, you'll begin to notice how he subtly starts aligning with your values and the way you live, not by force or pretense, but because he genuinely wants to be in sync with you. It's not about copying you or pretending to be someone he's not. It's about respect, admiration, and a quiet desire to move in your direction. You might see him becoming more mindful about things that matter to you, how you treat others, how you handle conflict, your outlook on family, career, faith, or even daily routines. If kindness is important to you, he becomes more thoughtful. If you value honesty, he starts communicating with more openness. If your lifestyle is grounded in simplicity or structure or ambition, he'll slowly start reflecting those same rhythms. This mirroring doesn't happen overnight, and it's not always dramatic. Sometimes, It's him choosing to spend his weekends the way you like, or learning to enjoy your favorite meals, or even being more intentional with his time because you are. It's in the way he starts asking deeper questions, making choices that consider not just himself but both of you, and letting your standards influence how he moves through the world. When a man begins to internalize what matters to you, it means he's thinking long-term. He's not just fitting into your life, he's shaping his with you in mind. It's one of the quietest yet most powerful ways he shows that your presence is changing him, grounding him, and inspiring him. Not out of pressure, but out of love, out of admiration, and out of a sincere belief that you're someone worth building a life with. 6. He talks about someday, with you in it. When a man sees you as someone he wants in his future, the way he speaks about someday starts to shift, and suddenly, you're part of the picture. He doesn't have to say, "I want to spend forever with you" outright. Instead, his words begin to paint a future that includes you in ways that feel natural, sincere, and quietly telling. You'll hear it in casual conversations. Maybe it's, "Someday, we should take a trip to your dream city," or "When we get our own place, I want a kitchen just like this." These aren't just passing remarks. They're soft visions of the life he's imagining with you. The details might vary, but the constant is your presence in the story. He may talk about buying a house, raising a family, moving to a new city, or building something meaningful. And instead of using "I," he uses "we." That shift might seem small, but it speaks volumes. It means he's not just thinking about what comes next for him alone. He's thinking about what comes next for both of you, together. Even his dreams and goals begin to take your presence into account. He starts making plans that are not just possible, but intentional. And you'll feel the difference, because he's not just fantasizing about a vague future. He's quietly anchoring you into his hopes, as if you're already part of what's to come. When a man includes you in his someday, it means you're not just a passing moment in his life. You're part of his direction. And even if he's not ready to say everything out loud, his vision tells the truth. He's already imagining you by his side, long after today. 7. He's consistent, not just romantic. When a man truly sees you as his forever person, his love shows up in consistency, not just in romantic highs, but in the everyday moments that quietly speak of commitment. It's easy to impress someone with grand gestures, flowers, or sweet words on special occasions. But the real measure of his feelings is found in how steadily he shows up when no one's watching. He doesn't disappear after intense moments. He doesn't love you only when it's convenient. Instead, he's there, day in and day out, in the check-ins, the texts, the small routines that become the fabric of your bond. You don't have to wonder where you stand or chase his affection. His presence is stable, reassuring, reliable. Romance is beautiful, but consistency is where trust is built. When he's emotionally invested, he understands that showing up for you doesn't mean showing off. It means being present in the quiet, in the chaos, in the mundane, all of it. He keeps his word, follows through on plans, and makes an effort even when life is busy or messy. He's not just trying to win you. He's trying to keep you, honor you, and grow with you. That kind of consistency builds safety, not just sparks. And while surprises and passion have their place, what grounds a relationship is knowing you can count on him, not just today, but tomorrow too. When a man replaces performance with presence, you know he's not in this to impress, he's in this to stay. 8. He respects your opinions and decisions. When a man sees you as his forever person, your voice holds real weight in his life. He doesn't just listen to your thoughts out of politeness, he values them. He genuinely wants to know what you think, not to debate or dismiss, but to understand. Your perspective matters to him, even when it differs from his own. In conversations, he doesn't interrupt or talk over you. He listens fully. When you express a decision, whether it's about your career, boundaries, friendships, or dreams, he honors it. He may ask questions, offer support, or share his own views, but he never tries to control, override, or diminish what you've chosen. Because deep down, he trusts your judgment. Even in disagreements, there's no belittling or manipulation. He may challenge you respectfully, but never in a way that makes you feel small. He recognizes that love isn't about always agreeing. It's about allowing space for each other's growth and independence. Your autonomy isn't a threat to him. It's something he admires. When a man respects your opinions and decisions, it's a reflection of the deeper bond he feels with you. He doesn't want a relationship where only his voice leads. He wants a partnership, one built on equality, mutual trust, and deep emotional safety. This kind of respect isn't flashy. It shows up in everyday moments. When he backs your choices, stands by you in public and private, and never makes you feel like you have to justify being who you are. That quiet respect is one of the clearest signs he sees you not just as a lover, but as an equal, someone he wants to walk beside for life. 9. He wants to solve problems, not run from them. When a man truly sees you as someone he wants a future with, his approach to conflict shifts. He no longer views problems as threats to the relationship. He sees them as opportunities to strengthen it. Instead of shutting down, avoiding tough conversations, or disappearing when things get difficult, he leans in, not to argue, but to understand, to resolve, and to protect the bond you share. He doesn't walk away when emotions run high. He may need a moment to breathe, but he comes back. He wants to talk it through, hear your side, and find common ground. His focus isn't on winning the argument. It's on finding peace between you. He's not interested in keeping score or proving a point. What matters most to him is that both of you feel seen, heard, and secure. You'll notice that he takes responsibility for his part, and he expects the same in return, not out of pride, but out of a shared commitment to growth. He's willing to be vulnerable, to admit when he's wrong, and to work through misunderstandings instead of letting them fester. Because deep down, he knows that love isn't just about the good days. It's about how you show up on the hard ones. When he fights for the relationship, not with you, but for you, it's a clear sign he's emotionally invested. He doesn't run when things get uncomfortable. He stays, he listens, he works through it. That's not just love, that's partnership. That's a man who doesn't just want to share his heart, but build a life where both hearts are safe. 10. He celebrates your wins like they're his own. When a man sees you as his forever person, your happiness becomes deeply intertwined with his. He doesn't just support your goals, he genuinely celebrates them. Your wins, no matter how big or small, light something up in him. He doesn't feel intimidated, overshadowed, or distant. Instead, he feels proud, because your growth feels like a shared victory. Whether it's a promotion, a personal breakthrough, or something simple like sticking to a goal you set for yourself, he responds with authentic excitement. His joy isn't performative. It comes from a place of emotional closeness. You'll hear it in the way he talks about you to others, in the way his face lights up when you succeed, in how he lifts you even higher when you're already soaring. There's no competition, no sense of you're ahead of me or what about my goals. He doesn't downplay your success or shift the attention. He embraces your moment fully, clapping the loudest, encouraging the strongest, and reminding you that you earned every bit of it. In those moments, you realize he's not just your partner in love, he's your partner in purpose. And when you doubt yourself or feel imposter syndrome creeping in, he's the one who reminds you of your worth. He sees what you're capable of, sometimes even before you do. That kind of support doesn't fade with time, it deepens. Because when a man is truly invested, your growth becomes part of his joy. Your win is his win, not out of obligation, but because his heart is fully in yours. 11. He protects your reputation in your absence. When a man is deeply emotionally connected and sees you as someone he wants in his life long term, one of the most telling signs is how he speaks about you when you're not around. It's easy to show love in public, in your presence, or during romantic moments. But the true test of his loyalty and respect lies in the way he guards your name when no one's watching. When there's nothing to gain by defending you, except protecting your dignity. He doesn't laugh along when others make disrespectful jokes about relationships. He doesn't allow anyone, friends, family, or strangers, to reduce you to gossip, assumptions, or unfair criticism. Instead, he stands firm. Not always loudly, not always dramatically, but firmly. If your name comes up, he makes sure it's handled with honor. Even in moments of disagreement between you, he never vents in ways that paint you as lesser. He doesn't look for sympathy by turning people against you. His words are careful, his tone respectful, because in his heart, he knows your value doesn't fluctuate just because you hit a rough patch. You may not hear about these moments, but you'll feel them in how others speak to you, how his friends treat you, how his world embraces you. Because a man who's truly invested in you doesn't just love you in private, he protects your image in public. His loyalty extends beyond affection. It's rooted in integrity. And when a man consistently guards your reputation without needing praise for it, you know his commitment runs deep, not just in love, but in character. 12. He's vulnerable with you emotionally. When a man sees you as his forever person, one of the deepest and most intimate signs is his emotional vulnerability. It's not something that comes easily, especially for someone who's been taught to be strong, silent, or guarded. But with you, he starts letting the walls come down. Not all at once, not perfectly, but with intention. He begins to share the parts of himself he usually keeps hidden, the fears he doesn't speak about, the dreams he barely whispers, the wounds he's still healing from. He doesn't just tell you about his day. He tells you how it made him feel. He lets you see his uncertainty, his doubt, his hope. And in doing so, he's offering something sacred, his unfiltered self. This kind of vulnerability doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's in the way he lets you hold space for his silence. Other times, it's in the quiet confession that he's struggling, or the trust it takes to cry in front of you. It's not about weakness, it's about trust. He feels safe enough with you to be real, raw, and honest. Because he knows you won't use his feelings against him. You won't judge. You'll hold them with care. When a man opens his emotional world to you, it's because he's not performing anymore. He's choosing connection over control. He's choosing you, not just to stand beside him in strength, but to sit beside him in softness. And that level of openness is one of the clearest signs that he doesn't just love you. He trusts you with the most fragile parts of who he is. 13. He invests time, not just money. When a man truly sees you as someone he wants in his life for the long haul, he knows that real love isn't measured in expensive gifts or flashy gestures. It's measured in time. Time is the one thing he can never get back, and if he's choosing to spend it with you, consistently, intentionally, that's one of the purest signs of emotional commitment. He shows up, not just for big moments, but in the quiet, ordinary ones too. He makes room in his schedule, even when he's busy. He remembers your important days, stays present in your conversations, and prioritizes quality time because he values connection over convenience. He's not just checking in when it's easy, he's carving out space because you matter. You'll feel it in the way he lingers after a long day, listens even when he's tired, or goes out of his way to be with you even if it's just to sit in silence. His time isn't about filling hours, it's about sharing life. It's in the shared meals, the walks, the late-night talks, and the way he stays near even when words run out. This kind of investment doesn't come with receipts. It's not about proving love through material things. It's about showing love through presence. Because while money can create moments, time builds memories. And a man who gives you his time, freely, willingly, wholeheartedly, is giving you a piece of his life. When he starts making choices that say, I want to be there, not just provide, you'll know, he's not trying to buy love. He's trying to live it. With you, every single day. 14. He talks about future traditions. When a man sees you as someone he wants to grow old with, he doesn't just think about the big milestones. He starts imagining the little rituals you'll build together. He talks about future traditions not because it's expected, but because the idea of doing life with you, again and again, feels comforting and right. These aren't just plans. They're memories he hasn't made yet, but hopes to. It could be something simple like, we should make pancakes every Sunday, or let's always spend New Year's Eve just the two of us. These small, repeated actions he speaks of aren't random. They're how he's quietly crafting a shared life. He's not just dreaming of a wedding day or a big move. His thinking about cozy habits, inside jokes, holiday routines, and shared seasons that come around year after year. These imagined traditions are a way of building emotional permanence. He doesn't want this to be temporary. He wants rhythm, familiarity, and meaning with you. You'll hear it in the way he talks about the future like it's a shared journal. Holidays you'll spend together, meals you'll always cook, traditions you'll pass down. And even if it's not always expressive with emotion, this is how he speaks love, through the picture of repetition, of stability, of togetherness. Because when a man starts dreaming of traditions with you, it means he's not just focused on falling in love. He's thinking about staying in love, about building something that feels like home, year after year, season after season, with you at the center of it all. 15. He says we more than I. When a man begins to see you as part of his long-term life, his language naturally shifts. And one of the most telling signs is how often he says we instead of I. It might seem small at first, just a change in a word here or there, but that word carries weight. We means together. We means shared. We means is no longer thinking in terms of just himself. He's thinking in terms of both of you. You'll hear it when he talks about the future. We should go there. We need to plan that. We'll figure it out. Even in everyday decisions, it shows up. What should we eat? What do we want to do this weekend? These aren't just phrases. They're subtle affirmations that you are part of his thinking, his planning, his life. The use of we reflects emotional intimacy, a quiet way of saying, you're not temporary. You belong in this with me. It shows that he's no longer viewing life as a solo mission. He's inviting you in, not just as a partner for the present, but as someone who shares the journey. Even in tough conversations or challenges, you'll notice he doesn't distance himself with phrases like that's your problem. Instead, he says, we'll get through it. Because in his heart, your struggles are his too. Your joy is his joy. And your future has already written himself into it, with both of your names at the top. When a man says, we more than I, it's a quiet, beautiful sign of unity. It's his way of showing he doesn't just love you. He's choosing you, again and again, in every sentence, every step, every shared heartbeat.